Hey folks, it's time for DM Everywheres to rejoice and for PCs to start shaking in their boots of Elvenkind. That's right, the Monster Manual is out, and on this episode of Dragons and Dice, I'll give you what I think about it, and I'll break down how moving to a VTT has helped our home game. Welcome to Dragons and Dice. So if you did the early order of the Monster Manual, it's out, and I have to say that I just got my copy, and I'm super impressed with it. It is chock full of awesome art. There's tons of monsters. It's something like 500 in just this one book, which is an absolutely great resource for a DM. The stat blocks have been redone in a really intuitive way that makes it very easy to find the stat that you're looking for, the save you need, the ability marker. Everything that you want is right there at the forefront of the stat block, and then it just goes right on down the list, and it's a very user-friendly version of the stat blocks. Not that the old ones were bad, but these have definitely been improved in my opinion. And I'll have to say the most impressive thing of this manual is how well the appendixes are done. It's just an amazing tool, especially if you have the digital copies, and I will have to say I'm quickly becoming a believer in switching from the good old hardback books to the digital versions. I know it's blasphemy, but it's just so easy to have everything right there in front of you. And if you want to click on a spell or anything that's on that monster stat block, they're all hyperlinked, and it's just quick, easy click. You got it all right in front of you. It really streamlines using your monster manual. It's just easier than ever to find the just right monster for each situation. So let's break down what these appendixes look like in the new monster manual. The first one is a very nice conversion table. So if you're running the old school 2014 stuff and you want to start to transition, you're like, oh, hey, I would like to use the new version of this monster. It's got a straight conversion chart. So you can just scroll down through this chart alphabetically, and when you find the monster that you're looking for, you can just click the link on the monster across from it. Or if you're using the hardback copies and the physical copies, just get the name of it and go look it up. They're all listed in the book alphabetically, so it's not hard to find on that version either. But it's just a really great tool for being able to, transition your game into the new material, and that's really nice. The next appendix that it has is sorted by habitat, and I love this one for random encounters. If your group is walking down a beach and you want to pull up all the area appropriate monsters, you can just scroll down, click coastal, and it'll bring up a list. And the best part of this list is that each of the habitats monsters are sorted by CR. So if you want a CR2 monster, it has all the ones that are available in that area right there grouped together that would be found in a coastal region. Or if you're in the forest, all the monsters that would be found in a forest region. And I think that's really nice for keeping everything on theme, because that's something I like to do in my games. I don't want you to be fighting, frost giants down inside a volcano. That just doesn't make sense. Seems a little construed. It's a really nice table to have for random encounters especially, or if you're just like, hey, what's going to be in these woods as you're planning out your sessions. Super easy to use appendix. Really like it. The next appendix is sorted by creature type, and this will be oh so helpful when you're setting up your battles. If your campaign is all elemental themed, then this will be like the place you scroll to all the time, because you just go down there, you find the elemental list, and it lists all the elemental monsters right there. And like I said, if you're on digital, you can just click on them, pull the stat blocks up right there, and you're ready to go. One thing of note, and maybe this will get patched in the future, and I kind of hope it does, this list is sorted alphabetically instead of by CR. And I think it would be nicer if it was sorted by CR, because that's kind of the most important thing when you're trying to pick out what you want your group to fight, as opposed to just having to scroll through the whole list and pick it out by alphabetical order. But that's a real kind of small, picky little fuss I have with it. But other than that, another great list that's super helpful if you're wanting a certain type of monster. They're all grouped right there together. The next one is monsters by group, which is very similar and set up the same way. The list has all the different groups of monsters now put together, so it's kind of like even taken down a little farther. So if it has demons, devils, and Yugolos split up by each of the group. In the previous list, they were all just under the fiend heading, and so you kind of had to dig through, but this kind of like takes it down one more step so you can really fine tune what you're looking for. I really like the way that they've done this. It's so much easier to get to the things you want using these appendixes, because now if you want only fiends, you just get to click on them and you don't end up having to dig through all the devils that are in the 9 hells when you want fiends from the abyss. So if you get used to using these appendixes, they're a really easy tool to navigate, and it's so quick and easy to get the exact right monsters that you want. And I'm super stoked to start running these new baddies out in my campaigns. And then if you're not that concerned with being on theme, or you just want to know all the CR5 monsters that are in the game, the next appendix is just every monster in the book sorted by CR, from the lowly lizard at a 0 to that terrible Tarrasque at a 30. And everyone is there, just numerical order from 0 to 30. You get to scroll through and see them all. This is really useful if you're just wanting like an arena battle with CR5 monsters in it. Perfect place to go. Pick whatever you like, and you're ready to rock. There is one other appendix, and this one is going to be especially nice for druids and rangers if they get to summon a beast, because this appendix has all the beast type monsters from A to Z. I think CR would have been a better way for this also, as it would be easier to find your wild shapes and pets. But it's a quick reference for all you druid and rangers out there, and it's got every monster that's in the beast category just listed A to Z. It'll also be nice for the DMs, because sometimes you just want the party to run into a tiger or a brown bear, and this is where you'll go for all those stat blocks. So the bit I've got to use these appendixes so far, I've been very impressed with the organization of the book, and I've really enjoyed working with it for setting up the battles for my next 3 or 4 sessions of D&D, getting to use these new monster blocks. They're great, and I think they've done a really nice job. One other thing I would like to note, the art in this book is absolutely amazing too. Every monster has just really cool like action scenes or little pictures of drawings, and everything that's in the book has been really well done. Now it's time for the homebrewed item of the week. This week's homebrewed item are the Boots of Badassery, and these are supple leather boots made from the finest of the giant crocodile leather on the land, and they allow the user multiple abilities. You get a plus 10 to your speed, and you can't be slowed by difficult terrain. You have advantage on your acrobatic checks, and you have the ability to wall run or run across water while you're moving on your turn. And if you were to be knocked prone, it only takes 10 foot of your movement to stand up instead of half, as it's hard holding these gators down. Add one to your game, I'm sure your players will love it. The other thing I would like to talk about on this episode is using the DnD Beyond virtual tabletop with this new material. My home table is trying out the new 2024 rules for the last few sessions, and they've been a blast. And to see how we like it, and as we made this transition into the new material, we were doing this new test run of it on the DnD Beyond's VTT. And I have to say, I absolutely love it so far. The weapon masteries are a lot of fun to work with, and they're the main reason we've switched to the VTT. There's a ton of movement involved in combat now, way more than was in the 2014 versions. And the VTT has made this way easier to control and see on the battlefield, as each of the players can individually move the monster they hit and push and pull and topple and all those things. It's so nice to just have it right up there. I was kind of slow to get used to it, as I really love the pencil and paper and sheets and all that old school jazz. But I have to say, after a couple sessions of running D&D through this VTT, it's way faster and easier for me as the DM. All the monsters from this monster manual are there. You just click and drop them to the battlefield. And when the battle gets started, it's very simple to set up initiative the way the stat blocks are now. Or if you just want to roll initiative, you can roll the whole table at once, and it puts the entire order there for everyone to see. And I really love this feature. I mean, let's face it, setting up initiative with a big table and a large battlefield, it takes as long to get everything in order as a lot of the fights do sometimes. So I'm a big fan of the auto initiative for the whole table. Just click and you're ready to rock. It does have the option, if you still want to do single initiative rolls for each person, they can all do that also. So they haven't taken that away, and I think it's been a really nice system so far. The other feature that I am loving is that when it's the monster's turn, it has all their stat blocks there. You literally just click on the monster that's up, open its stat block, and you can roll all its attacks, do all its spells, and if you were to not know what a spell does, there's a link right there on that stat block that'll open it up while you're in your VTT. You can read what the spell does, set up your area of effect for it on the screen, and keep moving with your monsters. It's been a very streamlined and efficient way of running D&D combat, and I'm a big fan of that. Also, the learning curve on this has been really quick. If you've worked off character sheets playing D&D before, once you get your character made on D&D Beyond and loaded into your campaign, it's all right there for you to use. And the sheets are so easy to just click on the stat that you want to roll, and boom, it pops up for the DM and the whole table to see. It's really nice. I mean, yay technology, right? I will say one more thing. The only thing that I really don't like about switching to the VTT is I have a ton of homebrewed items in my game, and that's a little bit of a problem to get to make and put in to where people can roll on their D&D Beyond sheet. It takes a little bit of finagling if you have something that's a little out of the box and not kind of based off another D&D item, but it's still pretty early in their VTT system, so I'm sure they'll get more stuff set up and you'll get to, put your homebrew items in a little more fluidly. It's a little bit of a hassle to get those to work out. That's my only real complaint with switching over to the VTT, is how that stuff works. All that being said, it's not a very hard workaround. People can keep your homebrewed items on a sheet. I'm sure you give them a card or something that explains what they do. And when that comes up that they use that item, they can, drop a dice down that dice tower. We all love doing that still. So it's not a hard workaround. I've really enjoyed switching to the VTT. And if your DM has the digital versions of all the core books, I'd give it a try. Overall, I've been really impressed with the Monster Manual. I love the art. I love the stat blocks. I love the ease that it integrates into their VTT. And I'm so excited to keep running this new material. And anyone who hasn't got to try the 2024 stuff, I would highly suggest it if you get the chance to do a one-shot or something. The weapon masteries and the way the movement works in combat and all the new skills, it's been really well done. I've been very happy with the transition that we've made. Well, folks, that's it for this episode of Dragons and Dice. Thanks for tuning in and spending your time listening to me go on about my favorite TTRPG, Dungeons and Dragons. And like always, anytime you could leave a review, a follow, or a like wherever you get your podcast, it'd be greatly appreciated as it helps with exposure of a new show. We're also now on Instagram. You can check us out in the link below. And until next time, may your DMs be kind, may your D20s roll high. Bye.